You are listening to the Boys Basketball Report, Oak Hill at Blackford, from Friday, February 14th, 2025, with Kevin Helfrich of the Action Sports Network.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Kevin, wow. That was a stunner.
It really was. I mean, Blackford just came out throwing haymakers in the opening quarter, staggering a no-kill team who they thought might have been down for the count after being dealt a 20-0 blow by the Bruins to start this one in the game's first 7 minutes. It was a dominant game plan and performance by Blackford from the start. As 6'4" junior Mason Kitterman dominated the opening 5 minutes of this one. He scored 13 of his co-team high 17 points in those 5 minutes, and the big fellow was scoring from anywhere and everywhere. He knocked down 3 triples to start this contest, and Oak Hill coach Rimbarger tried to stem the tide a couple times with 2 quick timeouts the first 4 minutes, but Oak Hill failed to hit a single field goal in that opening quarter and got just 2 free throws from Landon Watts off the bench. And Blackford, from the start took a 20-2 lead after one and really never looked back after that.
And I talked to Coach Daniels earlier tonight, and he said that Kitterman looked like somebody who averaged 30 points a game the way he was playing.
Yeah, that first quarter was impressive. And then, Oak Hill did make a little bit of run there in the second quarter back at Blackford. They got a big three-point shot by Lawson to close that first half. Ryan Lawson cut the deficit to 28-19. So Oak Hill had slowly chipped away there in that second quarter. They held Blackford to just 8 points in that second quarter. So you thought Oak Hill might have a little bit of momentum heading into that locker room. But the third quarter came out, and it was the do-it-all freshman for Blackford, Mari Leggett, who went to town. He had 13 third-quarter points, and the domination by Blackford that they had in the first quarter revisited itself to open that third quarter. They scored the first 8 points, and Oak Hill really never threatened after that. The closest they would get after that would be 13 points in the third quarter after a 5-0 personal run by R.J. Schugert, but Blackford was in complete control of this one throughout the second half, and Oak Hill just no match for the Bruins on this night. Blackford avenging 3 straight losses to Oak Hill by an average of over 31 points a game. So this one felt pretty good tonight, I think, for the Bruins, who this is probably their biggest game they've had there since Luke Brown, graduated from Blackford High School. This is Blackford's first Central Indiana Conference, at least a share of the title since 1998. And now it is all up to Oak Hill in a must-win next week at Elwood on Friday night to just get a share of it with Blackford, which if you would think that Oak Hill will be able to pull that one out, but you never know when the pressure mounts how kids are going to play. And tonight, Blackford is a special night there, as well as Gage Baker reached the 1,000-point plateau. He reached that in the second quarter with a free throw at the 3:29 mark of the evening. It was his 5th point of the game. And just a special night for him. He finishes with 13 points, and Leggett had 17 to tie Kitterman for team high honors. But the job they did defensively on Oak Hill's dynamic backcourt duo of Jace Tonigal and R.J. Schugert, they held those guys to just 10 of 36 shooting tonight.
Wow.
And they had to take a lot of tough shots tonight. And I thought the height bothered Oak Hill quite a bit tonight. The athleticism that Blackford was able to put out there on the floor really did cause a lot of issues for Oak Hill on this night. And so Blackford, that's a team that if they play the way they did tonight, that sectional is going to be at home. I know Wapahani's a top-ranked team, but if this type of Blackford Bruin team shows up when it comes sectional time, I would take my chances if I was a Blackford Bruin. Because this team played and looked really, really, really good tonight. I'm not sure, how they've lost 7 games if they can play the way they did tonight.
Well, they're a young team, and they've been getting better throughout the season. I think that's part of it. Also, they play a pretty tough schedule. But before we talk about Gage Baker, and I want to talk about Gage Baker, let's talk about Mari Leggett. He's been a star since the day he stepped on the court at Blackford. Sounds like tonight he's starting to become a superstar.
He really did, and it was in the third quarter when they really needed somebody else to step up because, as I mentioned, Oak Hill did a pretty good job on him in the opening half. He had just 4 points because it was the Kitterman show, and Baker had 6 in the first half as well. But that third quarter, he took this game over on his back. He's so tall and lanky. He's 6'4". He's gonna continue to grow, and his game is gonna continue to blossom. This is a kid that's got a tremendous future as a Blackford Bruin, and his game's only going to get better and better. But he really tonight brought home this Central Indiana Conference title, at least a share for the Bruins with that third quarter performance, and really turned the lights out on Oak Hill in this one.
Kevin, it's probably been, as I've said on the podcast a few times, a below average season in the CIC. Not an elite team, you know, not a lot of heft at the top. But man, the next 3 years, holy cow, is the CIC going to be good?
It really is, and you look at this Blackford team. I mean, they've got several of their players will be back next year off the squad. Oak Hill, return their backcourt, and they'll get Tonagle's brother Will next year. Will step up. I'm sure he'll be on that varsity squad from day one. And you look at some of these other teams in the conference: Eastbrook, Mississippi,
Mississippi's
those
loaded
type
with young
teams.
talent.
Right. So those
Frankton.
4 teams, yeah, there's 4 or 5 teams that are going to be fun to watch in the coming years. And this year, you've got Blackford and Oak Hill sitting there at the top. I'm not sure that they can win their sectionals. I mean, obviously Manchester is just a complete power in Oak Hill's Wabash sectional that they'll be facing this year. And then, Wapahani is going to come into Blackford and try to make a repeat run down to Indy this year. So, there's some big boys that are coming to these sectionals that they'll be playing in, but both these coaches have to be pleased with what the future holds.
Also, Kevin, tonight for a game for third place, Frankton beat Mississippi in overtime at the buzzer.
I think I saw that on your Twitter there. I saw that shot there to win the game. And Mississippi, boy, they had some tough luck this week. They lose, they foul late to lose to Pendleton Heights, and then they get beat on that last second shot today, and that's just got to be tough for Coach Brooks. And they played Delta pretty good for 3 quarters last weekend, so it's been a tough stretch.
Kevin, they had a literally wide open layup at the buzzer and missed.
Yeah,
and
that's just tough. Some days it's like that. Oak Hill missed a lot of shots inside too, but I think it was a lot of it had to do with Blackford's height and athletic. I think it just bothered him, and Oak Hill kind of felt those footsteps coming on shots they normally probably would knock down. But that just happens. That's part of the game, and it's unfortunate that those things happen. But the good thing for Oak Hill, you live to see another day tomorrow. They got to turn around, get on the bus, and head over to Logansport, and that may be the best thing for them. They got to put this one behind them and focus on that game tomorrow, and then it's they got that chance next week to redeem themselves with a win against Elwood and still claim a part of that CIC title, which would be their 10th since joining the Central Indiana Conference.
Right.
So Coach Rinbarger has done a tremendous job at Oak Hill, and they'll bounce back. It was just Blackford's night tonight. No doubt they were the much better team on the floor tonight, and I'm not sure if these teams played 10 times, Blackford would win their fair share. No doubt about that. They just have that much talent,
especially on that floor.
Yeah, on that floor, they were good tonight. They had a nice home crowd, I thought, tonight as well. And Oak Hill always travels well, so it was a good environment. But Blackford really, from the jump, just took it to the Golden Eagles.
Central Indiana basketball is better when Blackford's good. So good to see them rising back under Aaron Daniels. And last thing with the CIC. One thing that tends to happen is whether it's a really good year in the CIC or it's a average year in the CIC, there always tends to be upsets. There always tends to be a lot of parity. When there's a lot of good teams, and then maybe there's a lot of average teams. This year, they always tend to have those battles. And one very interesting thing is Eastbrook beat Blackford and Oak Hill this year.
Right, and they beat Blackford, I believe it was by double digits.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's a pretty impressive win to come away and beat them that handily. And they beat Oak Hill on Oak Hill's home floor in the Grant Four, fortunately for Oak Hill, that wasn't the conference contest. They were able to get Eastbrook back
Right.
after that loss and avenge that, and it's given them now the opportunity to still finish this Central Indiana Conference season with a win against Elwood and still get a share of that title. I know they wanted to have it outright, but Blackford said not on this night. So congratulations to Blackford. That was an impressive job by their kids and the coaches. They really were well prepared tonight.
Here's their consolation prize is that for the next 3 years, Oak Hill's boys and girls are going to be competing for so many championships they won't know what to do.
Yeah, they really are loaded. Both those squads will be very good for the foreseeable future. No doubt about that. And so this was a good night for Blackford to get it done, without a doubt.
Thank you so much to Kevin for joining us once again and giving us the report on the Oak Hill Blackford game. Always love having him on the Central Indiana Sports Report. And thank you for listening. Please go do us a favor and subscribe to our channel at YouTube. We're doing lots of fun things there. You're not going to want to miss it. Even if you're subscribed at SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, please go ahead and subscribe at our YouTube channel. I would really appreciate that. Also, please help spread the word about the Central Indiana Sports Report by telling your friends. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.